Hello and welcome to episode 10 of our foundation playthrough. We find ourselves looking over the permanent lumber area, which I was building last episode in the time lapse. This episode we're going to be working on something slightly different. We're going to be working on completing the common pathway, and that is going to be mainly for the purpose of stabilising our treasury, which has been fluctuating a little bit in the last few episodes. If we take a look at our progression panel, which I have up on the screen, you can see that there's not much we have to do to complete the common pathway. We just need to unlock jewellery making and the sculpture workshop and this tier 5 decorative, all of which I'm going to be doing this episode. And I'm hoping by building all of these things we are going to make our citizens a bit happy, having some luxury goods, and also that it might be something we'll be able to trade for quite a few coins. And we've got the perfect place to start doing this right here, where our bailiffs have been prospecting these mineral deposits, and we have managed to find gold and quartz and stone, which almost perfectly lines up with the materials we're going to need to create jewellery, sculptures and stained glass. So I'm going to be building out the mining that we will want to take place around these deposits. And I think the most efficient way to get to these deposits, because we haven't unlocked the territory they're in yet, is going to be by probably building a bridge here and creating a crossing and a little road all the way down. So I will start out by unlocking the key territories that we're going to need. And we had to unlock 3 territories to get over here, but we have now done it, yay! And the next thing we're going to want to do is build a bridge in order to get from this side of the river over to the other side of the river. And I think I'm going to build this bridge out just like this. The other thing I'm going to do is build a little builder's workshop over the side of the map, just to make the building of all these buildings a bit more efficient. And we can immediately employ 3 builders in there. And I'm now going to build out the mines that we want attached to these deposits. There we go, and those mines probably won't be able to be finished building until this bridge is done. And it looks like the construction of this bridge is underway, which is good. Another thing we're going to want out near these mines is a lot of storage to store not only the raw material that we are extracting, but also then the products that we're going to be making with that raw material. There we go, that is all built now. And I do have a little side quest for us just while we're waiting for this bridge to be built out, which is going to be pretty key to us setting up these industries, and that is to build out a couple more wool fields or sheep fields over here in order to produce more wool. We have been running low on wool, cloth and common clothes for quite a while now. I think that's just due to our increased population. Our goods capacity is kind of being kept up at the moment by our common wares, and we also do have a few candles, although maybe not loads. So I think it would be beneficial to us to start producing a few more common clothes, and I think having a couple of sheep fields over here would work pretty perfectly. I'm also noticing that our fish storage is a little full out here, so it might be beneficial for us to get a granary out here to store that as well. Also, while we're waiting, I'd like us to have a look at our edicts, I never know how you say that, because we have a spare slot on this labour pathway one. And I've got my eye on this additional taxation privilege, which means we can have 1 more concurring taxes without penalty. Over the next couple of episodes, we are going to be doing a bit more of our labour progression, and that does involve adding a couple of taxes, so I think that is going to do quite a lot of help for our happiness. And I'd quite like this little hamlet of houses to be upgraded to medium density, so a few more people can live in here. In order to have that, we're going to need light fortification and patrol coverage. I'm worried that our patrollers are going to be slightly too far from this manor house, but I'll have a go at building the light fortification building and just see if it works. If not, we might have to build another small manor house out in this area, which would be okay. I also originally built these bushes kind of in a line because that's where the road used to run, but the road doesn't run there anymore, so it looks a bit weird, so I'm just going to move them into the house's gardens at this point. And these bushes kind of still line up, so I'm happy to leave those ones for now. Looks like our granary, or half our granary, has been built out, so we can start storing some fish in here. And the first of our sheep farms has also been built out, so I will add in a couple of shepherds and paint out this pasture. And we are also going to want some storage nearby in order to store the wool, cloth and common clothes that we're going to be making over here. We're also going to need a patrol area for these houses in order for them to be able to upgrade to medium density. And our second sheep farm has been built, so we can go ahead and paint out the pasture for this as well. And I'm pretty happy with how that's looking. One final touch that I'm going to want to do is to just build a fence or a little stone wall around the edge of these fields. And I've left a little bit of spare space around here just in case we end up wanting to expand out these fields by one more potentially. And we can now put in a couple of transporters here and begin to store wool. We are of course also going to need a weaver and a tailor over here if we want to create common clothes. It looks like our watchtower is indeed too far from any watch post or guard company, so I am going to have to build just a very small manor house with a couple of watchmen in this gap here. And that's probably about all I'm going to do for this manor house over here, so we'll go ahead and build all of that. And it looks like our village wooden bridge has been completed, which is looking great. So I will go ahead and employ the miners out in this area now. We can also begin to store the raw materials over here. And the raw materials we're going to be getting from here are quartz and also gold ore, and we'll also be getting stone. I do also want to clear a bit more of a pathway through the forest from this bridge over to this mining area, so I'm going to go ahead and clear out all the forest and move a couple of kind of lumber people over here to complete the forest clearance. We have a couple of lumberjacks or lumber camps over here that are no longer really being used, and so I think we can probably use those to move into that new forest clearing area. And the people who work actually in these mines are probably going to want somewhere slightly closer to live, so I am going to paint out a little bit of residential in this area here. And we are starting to store a little bit of wool over here, so I would like to go ahead and build that weaver's hut and tailor's as well. And it looks like some of these houses are starting to upgrade, which is very exciting. And it looks like our weavers has just been built out, so we can go ahead and add a couple employees in there, and they will start turning our wool into cloth. And it looks like we can now employ a few tailors in here. I'm not going to promote them all the way to citizens because they won't be happy with where they can live, but I believe I can promote them to commoners and they will be able to live nearby. And we are probably just about ready to unlock the jewellery and also the sculpture workshop. And I'll go ahead and unlock this decorative while we're at it, and that will complete the common path totally. So the three things, or maybe more, that we're going to want to build out now are a gold smelter and a jeweller's workshop, a sculpture workshop and a stained glass workshop. I'm going to go ahead and start with the jewellery. We've got our gold smelter here, which I can build for 500 coins, and also our jeweller's workshop. And I can see that the gold smelter is going to need to be built within a light fortification zone. And it looks like the jeweller's workshop is going to have the same stipulation, so I'll probably go ahead and build a little watchtower just somewhere over here. And I'm noticing up here that we've got loads of wheat, but we are starting to run a little bit low on flour. So I think I might need to come over to our wheat fields and build one more mill quickly. Looks like our little village watchtower over here has been completed, and luckily it's not too far from our watch post, so I can go ahead and start building our gold smelter and jewellery workshop in here. It looks like we might want to produce a little bit of coal in order to be able to make our gold bars along with our gold ore, so I'll probably put another coal extraction building just around in this forest and make sure to store it here as well. And as with all of my coal huts, I always build a little reef forester next to them so that the trees keep getting replanted as they're being cut down. And we've got quite a lot of complaints of a refined food shortage, which is a bit new for us, so I'm just going to perhaps build a couple more fishing piers and berry collecting huts to make sure we're staying on top of that. And our windmill has been built, so we can go ahead and start populating that with millers, and I've drawn out a bit of extra residential zoning up here as well so that they will have somewhere to live. So our coin balance is looking incredibly precarious at the moment, which makes me think we're going to need to make a start on selling some of our jewellery, and in order to do that we're going to employ a couple of people at our gold smelters. And we will employ a couple more at the jewellers. Now, these people would both like to be citizens. I know that there's no adequate citizen housing nearby, so for now I'm just going to leave them as serfs so they don't leave the village. And we could use our jewellery as luxury goods to please our own citizens, but to be honest, we already have herbs and honey, which is kind of fulfilling that need, and no one is complaining of a luxury goods shortage, so I'll be planning to sell all of the jewellery that we make. So to do that, I can come in here to resources and click for jewellery, sell everything above the value of 0. We're also going to want to start keeping some of our gold ore in order to be producing this jewellery. Right now we're selling all of our gold ore, so I will stop selling all of our gold ore so that we can start turning it into jewellery. That will have a bit of an impact on our coins balance, but in the long run I think it will help it. And I will start getting this charcoal burner to run as well, so that we've got charcoal coming into our gold smelters very nearby. Something that's probably also going to help us with this is improving our trade routes. I'm not entirely sure of the consequence of this, but I'm hoping it might give us some better trade prices, which means we could get a bit more for our goods. And I had said that we were going to start making sculptures and stained glass in this episode, but I've realised from our trade routes in the royal book that I don't believe we can actually sell the sculptures or the stained glass, so that's not going to help with our current treasury situation. So I'm actually going to focus more on this jewellery trade for now. And I can see we've just sold some jewellery, 6 pieces of jewellery for 77 coins, and that is what I'm really hoping is going to start saving our treasury situation. And I shall leave this episode here, looking over the new area that we have built out this episode. As you can see, our coin situation has become a bit more stabilised, I'm thinking, thanks to our jewellery production. I really hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.